and the value of the closing inventory. Okay, there are three methods: the first in, first out. Right, the goods that came in first, the oldest stock, is the one that is sold or issued out first. Then you've got the last in, first out, where the latest stock is the one that's issued or sold out first. Okay. Then we've also got the average costing method, okay, which is also called AVCO. And here, it doesn't matter whether the goods came in first or last, you issue anyhow, but you just first get the average cost. So, I'm going to do this question here. Alright. So for a certain company, okay, we've got this information here. Tell us the opening inventory is 50 units that were valued at 20 kwacha. Okay, then these are the transactions here. Okay, first of the month they purchased 20 units valued at 20 kwacha. Second of the month they purchased 30 units at 18 kwacha. So we're going to look at all these transactions here. Okay, and we're going to find, the question is asking us, find the value of the closing inventory under Fifo, LIFO, AVCO. Okay, and then also, part 2, we need to calculate the gross profit under these methods. Okay, so first things first, you need to make a stores ledger. This is a stores ledger here, colleagues. It's got three main columns. The purchases column, okay, where you have the quantity, price, and value. You have the sales or issues column, okay, quantity, price, and value. And then you also have the balance column, okay. Again, quantity, price, and value. Okay, so just remember there are three main columns for this. Purchases, in other books you're going to see it as receipts. Okay. Sales, other times you see it as issues. Okay, and finally the balance. Okay, so these are the three main columns we'll be dealing with. So, we're going to start with the first in, first out. Okay, where the stock that came in first, the oldest stock, is the one that is issued or sold out first. So the first thing always, you look for the opening inventory. Okay, you start with this. Opening inventory, 50 units, valued at 20 kwacha. So here you put 50 units valued at 20 kwacha. What is the total value of these units? 50 times 20, 1,000 kwacha. Okay, that is the first step. You put in your opening inventory. Any questions? Okay. Now we come to these transactions here. Okay. On the first of the month, this company purchased 20 units valued at 20 kwacha each. Okay. So since the total is a purchase, we come here. So we're going to the first. We purchased 20 units valued at 20 kwacha. Okay. So 20 times 20, that is 400 kwacha. Okay. Now, for for the first in FIFO method and LIFO method, this is the trick, colleagues. Always remember, whenever there is a purchase, that's where the separating of the inventory happens. Please write this down or remember this. Whenever there is a purchase, that's where now you separate the inventory. Okay? This is what I mean here. Purchase 20 units at 20 kwacha for 400. So remember, we've got this initial batch of 50 units at 20 kwacha. So you write it down here, 50 units at 20 kwacha, valued at 1,000. Okay. Then you bring in 40 units, valued at 20 kwacha. Oh, bring in 20 units, not 40 units, 20 units, valued at 20 kwacha, 20 times 20, 400 kwacha. So this is how I've separated the inventory here. Okay. Every time there is a purchase, you're going to do this. You put the inventory in different batches. Okay. So that you should be able to tell, okay, which is the oldest stock, which is the newest stock. So these 50 units, this is the old stock. These 20 units, this is the new stock. Any questions before I move further? Okay. On the second, we purchased another 30 units at 18 kwacha. So again, another purchase. On the third, purchased 30 units, valued at 18 kwacha. So we say 30 times 18. 540 kwacha. Okay. So again, we separate the stock. Okay. We initially have the 50 units valued at 20 kwacha. Total value 1,000. 20 units valued at 20 kwacha, 400 kwacha. Then you brought in another 30 units valued at 18 kwacha, 540 kwacha. Okay. So every time there is a purchase, this is what you do. Okay. We look at the next. Oh, any questions before I move further? Remember, where you get lost, feel free to ask. Okay, until you understand this. Okay. Now on the third, we issued 20 units. Okay. So colleagues, here's another important point or note you should remember. Whenever there is an issue, or sale, value the inventory at cost. Okay? Always value. So even though they say it here issued 20 units and they put a price here, don't value at that price. No, you're valuing the inventory at cost. Okay, so remember this, because remember, all in all, we want to find the cost of the goods that were sold. That's why we're valuing this inventory at cost. We want to find cost of the goods sold and also closing value of closing inventory. So these 20, so again also when there is an issue, this is where, if it's FIFO or LIFO, this is where the actual thing takes place. Okay, so we issued 20 units. Alright, so we're using the first in, first out. So we're going to issue out the oldest stock. Okay, so the question has told us on the, what date was this? On the 3rd, issued out 20 units. Okay, so on the issues, first you're going to come to this balance section and see, since this is first in, first out, which is the oldest stock. The oldest stock is this 50 units. Valued at 20 kwacha. Alright. So the 20 that we're issuing out, we're going to remove it from this batch of 50 units. Okay. We'll remove it from this first batch in green. Okay. So here under issues, you're going to put 20 units. Price, we're valuing it at cost. So you value it at the cost of this old stock, which is 20 kwacha. Okay. So 20 times 20, that is 400. Okay. Any questions before we move further? So these 20 units have been removed from where? This batch here. So 50 minus 20 remain with 30 units of this batch here. Okay, so remain with 30 units valued at 20 kwacha, which is 600 kwacha. Okay, then we've also got these 20 units valued at 20 kwacha, which is 400 kwacha. And then finally, our latest stock was the 30 units valued at 18 kwacha, which is 540. Okay. Any questions before we go to the next part? Okay, we're on the 4th here. Issued 15 units. Okay, we issued 15 units, so we come here on the 4th. Issued 15 units. So these 15 units, again, they're coming out from the oldest stock. Okay, and the oldest stock is this 30 units valued at 20 kwacha. Okay, so we're going to value these 15 units at 20 kwacha. 15 times 20, that is 300. Alright, so these 15 units, we're going to remove them from these 30 units. So 30 minus 15, we get 15 units valued at 20 kwacha, which is 600 here. And then you've got 20 units valued at 20 kwacha, which is 400. And then we've got 30 units valued at 18 kwacha, that is 540. Yes. Any questions, colleagues? I purchased 10 units. What was the price here? Purchased 10 units at 15 kwacha. That's on the 5th. Purchased 10 units valued at 15 kwacha. Value 150. Okay, then as I said, always when you have a purchase, remember this is where you are separating your inventory. Okay. So you have now brought in 15 units. Okay, then here 20, 20, 18. Let me just add one more issue. Let's say if in our transactions here, say on the 6th issued 35 units. So we issued 35 units. 6th here. We issued 35 units. Now, as we can see here, we're removing from this first batch here. Okay, so basically these 35 units, we're removing them from 2 batches. Okay, so the first 15 units will be removed from our oldest batch here. Okay. So here, 15 valued at 20 kwacha and 600. Now remember, we've issued out 35 units, okay? 35 units. So we removed 15, means we're remaining with 20 units. And these 20 units, we are going to move them from the next batch here. Okay, we're going to remove from the next batch here. Okay. So you're going to put here 20 units valued at 20 kwacha, it gives us 400. Now since these are the same amounts here, okay, you can add 20 plus 15, that is 35, 35 issued at 20 kwacha each. Okay. I just wanted to illustrate to you that when you're removing from different batches, even the issues, it should show. Okay, it should show. So the first 15 removed are here, the remaining 20 are here. So we remain with goods worth 13, 18, 14. Oh, this is supposed to be 10. Yes. Okay, so now the next thing, colleagues, is we need to find our closing inventory. Okay, because as I said, that is the major purpose of this. Okay, so closing inventory, just add up the values here. 150 plus 540. Okay, 150 plus 540, that is 690. So that's the value of closing inventory, which usually in financial statements you're going to see under additional information when they tell you closing inventory. This is where this closing inventory comes from. Any questions? Then if they ask you to get profit, if they ask you to get profit, calculate the gross profit. Remember, gross profit from accounts, gross profit is sales revenue, minus cost of goods sold. Okay, sales revenue minus cost of goods sold, that's the gross profit. So basically here they've told us the selling price of the goods is 40 kwacha. Okay, so we just need to find out how many goods did we sell in total. Okay, so here under sales and issues, we just add 20 plus 15 plus 15 plus basically 35. So 20 plus 15 plus 35. So we sold 70 units. Units sold. So sales revenue 70 units times 40 kwacha per unit. $2,800 kwacha. That's the sales revenue. Okay. Get the number of goods that were sold and multiply it by the selling price. Then the cost of goods sold. Okay. Under this value section for the sales, alright, because remember we are valuing the inventory at cost. Okay. So we're going to say 400 plus 300, 700 plus basically 1,000, 1,700. So gross profit equals 2,800 minus 1,700.